Welcome to the 12th episode of ML Backstage. My name is Mars Luna,
And I'm Ethan.
and we're introducing this podcast straight from the sixth dimension. This is a music commentary podcast hosted by just Holokahiki Toves and Joshua Luna today. Kainalu went on a date?
You know it.
Another day, another ABG. Anyway, the Psychopath video and single are out, and now the boys are about to harness their own psychopath energy. Earthlings, grab your popcorn and let's get started. Back to planet Earth we go!
What's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 12 of ML Backstage. I am Joshua Luna, and I am joined by young oatmeal himself, Holokahiki Toves. How's it going, bro?
Hey, it's going well, going well. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, what's been new with you over the last month?
Last month. Oh, bro, a lot of things happened last month. Especially yesterday was my last day with Aulani, a Disney Resort and Spa.
Ooh, there we go. There we go.
We're making moves, moving forward, and big things ahead. That's all I can say.
Moving forward. As we mentioned before the podcast started, moving forward is different from moving on. I like it. I like the positive connotation. Excited. I'm excited. Yeah, Kainalu Kamai is he's not here today because he's on a date with some random ABG he pulled off on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm just playing. But no, he's working at the Ghost Bus today. They're back in business, so he dipped out last minute. So shout out to Nalu. Hopefully we'll get him back by the next episode. But as for me, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a really hectic month and actually been a really hectic year. There's been a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I'm not ready to share yet. But good things, you know what I'm saying? I'm basically just trying to figure out like what transition looks like in my life, because I'm in this stage right now where I'm getting rid of all the old things, you know what I'm saying? Like the old memories, the old, things that I held on to for a while, and just like you, like onto bigger and better things, and just trying to see what transition looks like. And that's kind of where I'm at. And like, for example, like I told Holo and Nalu that my hard drive that I had for my computer lost power, and I had a good 4 to 5 years worth of things in there, and there were two lessons that I learned from that. One was, back up your hard drive. You know what I'm saying? That's the fairly obvious point. But the second one was that, certain memories aren't worth holding on to, and, nostalgia can be good for a while, but it's one hell of a drug. And in order for you to really move forward, sometimes you got to cut some of those memories off and just focus on the future and just focus on the present. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
So it all worked out the way it's supposed to. But anyway, so today we're talking about the Psychopath music video that Mars Luna dropped last week. And it actually crossed 200 views today as we're recording this. So shout out to everybody that's been watching and listening to the acoustic song, you know what I'm saying? The acoustic version and the album version of it. Psychopath is actually the most streamed song from Dark Matter on Spotify and Apple Music by far. And it's one of my favorite songs. I think I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, but it is one of my favorite songs off of Dark Matter, and one of my favorite songs that I've written. So I'm glad that we were able to get a video for this out, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go over the just like the directions and like all the changes that happen. But first, I want to talk about how Psychopaths and its influence and connection with like comic book characters and cinematic influences. So, Holo, have you watched the Batman movie yet?
You know, a lot of people is gonna hate me for this, but I haven't watched it.
And no, it's all good. It's all good. I wasn't really like a big like Batman fan growing up because I didn't. He's one of those like misunderstood like anti-heroes that I didn't necessarily get because his powers weren't necessarily like as obvious as like say it's not, he doesn't have like super cool powers, but it's like his personality, like his character and like like the grunginess surrounding Batman. I was like, I watched the Batman movie like not when it came out, like a couple days after it came out, and it made me think of the Psychopath video. I was like, okay, like I kind of channeled what needed to be channeled, you know what I mean? And like I never really was a fan of Batman growing up, but I understood the character more. I always loved the Batman villains though. So like the Joker, the Riddler, who was featured heavily in the new Batman movie. And the Mars Luna persona is actually kind of based off of the Riddler a little bit, and the Joker, and Venom, but Venom is Marvel. Um, so it just like I saw like the grunginess of the Batman movie and how dark it was. And I remember like Kainalu kept on mentioning like, oh, like this scene is so grungy. It's so dark. And it's like, and like seeing like how the Batman movie came out and how, good of a reception it was, it kind of validated like the direction that we ended up going with as far as like the video is concerned. So it was really cool to kind of see everything play out. And because Psychopath was also based off of the Joker and Harley Quinn dynamic, which is like a toxic relationship where the two people were not, the Joker and Harley Quinn, they were not good for each other, but they were mesmerized by each other type of thing, and the repercussions that came from the toxic relationship. So just like I just want to give a brief overview on the comic book influences for Psychopath. And Psychopath in a way defined dark matter for me. And like I don't know what else to say that hasn't been said in the last couple episodes. So go check out episode 9 to hear us talk about Psychopath in a lot more further detail. And because Psychopath was my favorite song on Dark Matter, I figured, I did have the stems for it. And stems for like non-music people is like the individual parts that make up the songs. And Morgan sent over the new piano and the new vocals to our Dark Matter group chat that we had. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of this, you know what I mean? And just and just find a way to create an alternate version for this song that I really loved. And basically I didn't really do too much to it. Like I mixed it a little bit and I produced it a little bit, but there really wasn't much that needed to be done. And I remember you, Holo, saying, because when I showed y'all the video for the first time, you were like, "Oh, I hope that. Oh, when is this version coming out? When is this version coming out?" And like me releasing this acoustic version of Psychopath made sense to drop it alongside the video. It gave more of a reason to release it, in my opinion. So that I feel like it concluded Dark Matter this season pretty nicely. And I remember like, so when I first started brainstorming for Psychopath, I remember going in a different direction entirely. When I started, figuring out like how I wanted the scenes to go and how I wanted, how I envisioned things playing out in my head. I envisioned something a little more risque, not in like not in like a raunchy way, but just more so
Mhm.
playing off of the like toxic love element of the song. And it just, because it was recorded during a time when the Omarion variant of the Rona was popping around, it didn't really there wasn't really a whole lot of places that we could go
Mhm.
to. So we kind of just experimented around with different ideas and different places. Holo, Nalu, and I kind of explored different areas, and it ended up working out the way it was intended to. So that's like the direction changes that kind of shifted with that. And I remember saying like, okay, it needed to radiate psychopath energy. Like that was the phrase that um I needed to channel. I was like, psychopath energy, what does that look like? And I remember telling, Holo and Nalu that, okay, Psychopath was based off of the Joker and Harley Quinn relationship. So I wanted to get a girl for this video, we but talking to my mom about it and talking to, you know, the guys about it, Holo and Nalu, I realized that we already had someone that was that was fit for the video from a video that we shot 5 years ago. And my mom said, why don't you just recycle that? And the more I was hesitant about it at first, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, we can't find anybody better
Mhm.
than this person. So it was just like, you know what, like, shout out to Lindsay Lee, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um,
shout out.
uh, you know, she did so well that we had to recycle footage again, but it ended up playing really, really well, honestly. And just seeing the differences between 2017 and 2022,
Oh man.
the direction, like how Mars Luna was back then to now, I can't even explain it. Like the Cosmic Prince persona was not embodied yet at that time. And just seeing like, oh, like this is who Mars Luna was back then, and now he's like this, kind of cosmic crackpot type persona with stars on his face. And that, I was like, if that doesn't embody psychopath energy, I don't know what it is. So it worked. So that's we kind of did like a time lapse, time difference type thing, and how Mars Luna was unable to move on from this failed relationship, and just seeing like the devolving of or the transmogrification of Mars Luna from like a James Bond kind of, with James Bond kind of outfit looking to a complete comic book, you know, comedy villain is now it's very interesting. But I felt like that video illustrated it very well.
Mhm.
And yeah, we went through, so we filmed Psychopath um in 3 days, right? We went to, well, actually four if we're counting the day that we explored different locations, right?
Mhm.
So I want to ask you, like, what do you remember about uh the filming days from day 1, day 2, and day 3? So I'm gonna break it down like one day at a time. So let's go with day one, because we filmed in the Chinatown portion of Honolulu. And just for context for everybody listening, so there are different versions of Chinatowns, and not all Chinatowns are built the same. So I'll put it that way. So the Vegas Chinatown is a lot bigger. There's a lot of like different like places to eat, and there's a lot of it's pretty clean for the most part. The Chinatown in Oahu, I'll say, like, that's when the phrase psychopath energy really came into play. And there were a lot of interesting moments that happened, but I want to deflect it to you, Holo. What do you remember most about filming in Chinatown?
So when you brought up Chinatown, the first thing I remembered is, and it's like right, like, you know, bottom, you know, stage one, low level is,
Yeah.
I had the hardest time looking for parking.
Mm-hmm.
Like we ran around Chinatown like 3 times to look for parking.
Yeah.
And once we did, we had a guy in the back of us. He was like rear, like kind of like bumper to bumper. Like he wanted
Yeah,
that spot where he was trying to parallel. I was like,
right.
oh, forget this guy. We ran again around and we finally parallel parked. And I had my homie, you know, look out for me because it was pretty tight, but we made it work.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say the next thing is when we was filming by the Hawaii Theater,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, talk about psychopath energy. Bro, we had these two people come in. They're like dressed in black, but they're like 2 girls.
Yeah.
Coming in, and I think one girl was holding a phone, filming this other girl walking down the road where we was doing a music video.
Yeah. They were walking in the middle of the street too.
They was walking in the middle of the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we was trying to film, and then these girls just pop out of nowhere, blasting their music, and then we all stopped, and we was like, "What is going on?" Like,
right?
They're dressed in black, you know, and it's like it sounded like very like grunge rap, like like it's so weird. And then we're trying to film, and then one of the girls goes ahead and throws a firecracker right in the middle of the road. We turned and I was like, "Oh, was that a firecracker?"
Yeah.
And us,
like, what just happened?
Yeah, we was like, "What just happened right now?" And we all look at each other. Only in Chinatown.
Only in Chinatown. Oh my gosh. It's one of those things where you got to see it too, but you got to see it in real time. It was nuts.
I wish I had that on film too, though. So it's so funny. But we even have like these Japanese tourists that was right next to us. And once the firecracker just went like boom right into the road, bro, they just like took the pictures, clink clink, and they dipped. I turned around and I was like, "Oh, where did these guys go?"
Right.
Where did they go? They just left. But Chinatown, it's a whole different beast. Like, I remember we was walking. We didn't want to drive around because, you know, parking is essential there. So we just walked across to one location to the next location. And at one point we had a uncle. Oh, we was in the car at that time when uncle was like shouting. Oh, we was walking, right?
I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, I know which one you're talking about. I think we were walking.
He was walking.
We were walking.
Yeah, we was walking. There was an uncle shouting at somebody in the middle of the street, and then there was a sidewalk where the people of Chinatown were setting up shop for the night and getting ready to go sleep. And it was like scary. Like I was like preparing myself, like, oh shoot, I think today's the day I'm gonna get shanked right now. But it's just different energy, and you know, we as a team decided to go to Chinatown because it had that energy that I was looking for.
Right.
And it just thinking about for someone who's been growing up in Hawaii,
Mhm.
Chinatown is the place where, you know, crazy ish happens, and
Right. Mhm.
that's the energy we're going for. And you
Yeah.
know, sure enough, we went there and we received that energy
right,
100%.
right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat, bro. And I remember, yeah, I remember like, you know, because you sent us some VHS footage
Oh, right, right, right.
From Chinatown, and that will be put all over this video. And like I remember seeing like there was a lot of like random things happening too at night, because this was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, yeah.
And like this is like, and Chinatown in Oahu is pretty sketch. So and
Bruh.
just like seeing all the random things that were happening. I think I saw it like when we were filming. I think when Nalu was filming something of me, your VHS camcorder panned over to like some random drug deal happening or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. And you're like, oh, psychopath energy.
Yeah, like prior to that, prior to filming that, I remember we was rolling up, right? Rolling up
Mhm.
because we was looking for another location
Yeah.
because we got booted from this security guard because we
Yes.
couldn't film for I don't know what reason.
And that was a perfect spot too, honestly.
That was a perfect spot, right?
That was a perfect spot.
So we was driving to this brick wall, and when I was driving, I kind of like glanced over, and
Mhm.
you know, there's these three guys, you know, they're just chatting up, but you know, they're like shaking hands,
Mhm.
and you know, they're shaking hands where I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then when I was filming you, and I was looking at back, I was like, bro, they're shaking hands more than usual.
Yeah.
I go ahead and pan. I'm like,
It was a transaction.
yeah. I was like, oh, there you go. Psychopath energy.
Yeah, there we go. So, but I'm not gonna lie, that wall came in really clutch though. Like,
Mhm.
if you want to talk about DIY creativity and DIY, you know, just figuring it out with the resources that you got, like that is the epitome of using all of your resources, because you know we use like your headlights from your car,
Yeah, yeah.
and it proved it, and that was enough lighting to cover the brick wall. And like seeing, I'm not gonna lie, like that part was really nice, because like you saw like the background of like all the buildings and stuff,
Buildings, yet nobody was walking
and
to.
nobody was
That was
walking.
crazy.
It
Yeah.
was pretty eerie. But like, and there was one scene where I was lying down on the ground, and I wanted to lie down on the ground like throughout, you know, that entire part of the song, but I thought someone was walking on the sidewalk. And then I had to kind of just stand up, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna finish the song this way. So, you know, we did what we had to do. Like I think we were all kind of shook a little bit at the end of the night,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
but except for Kainalu, he wasn't really he wasn't really phased by anything, because you know he's been to Afghanistan, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah. Bro,
and
we was like high alert that whole night.
high alert the
Bro.
whole night. And I shouldn't, I mean, I should have been like completely prepared, you know, because I'm kind of from a ghetto too. But it's been years since I lived in the ghetto, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like it's just, you know, high alert. It's just like, you know, trying to keep looking
Yeah,
back behind
yeah.
your shoulders to see if there was anything that was going to happen, you know. And granted, we would never film there again, but
Mhm.
just for that video, it was essential. You know what I mean? It was essential to kind of capture that energy, and that kind of set the course for the rest of the video, and just, you know, went along with the flow. And in that situation, it was actually very dangerous to go along with the flow, but that day was
Yeah.
that day was like the benchmark. I was like, okay, we did what we had to do here, and just figure out what the next day was. And also, before I forget, Hawaii theater is one of the most misplaced like landmarks I've ever seen. So just to put that out there. So Hawaii theater is like a historic theater, like a lot of the classic classic theater, and like hula competitions and stuff.
Mhm.
They hold those things there, but it's held in such a sketchy spot. You know what I mean? Like you see all the like Hawaii theater is the only place in Chinatown with like neon lights,
Yeah, yeah.
and it looks like Vegas, honestly, but everything around it is just like pitch black. So it was a weird spot to put it in. Just putting that out there for context. And if you Google Hawaii theater, it looks pretty nice on the outside, but if you look at the surrounding areas,
Oh,
nope,
no, no.
nope. That good luck finding parking or good luck navigating through the streets. So I remember the next day. The next day we went to we filmed at a tennis court, and I remember there's this park in Central Oahu, this big, gigantic park with like tennis courts with like a huge baseball field, and I thought that place was gonna be like lit, since it was a big park or whatever, and especially since it's a big park, it should have more supervision, right? But we went to this park, and it wasn't really lit at all. I think it was lit in like one area, but everything else was like, it was like pitch black, or like
Yeah,
the lights
yeah.
were really dull. So I was like, dang, like I felt like crap, because like Holo's driving us, throughout this whole thing, and like, damn, like I made this dude waste some gas money, and then he started driving. I was like, where are you going? And he was like, oh, I think I found a spot. I think I know where we can go. And it was a spot where your Holo's Tahitian group
Yeah.
practices all the time. And again, it ended up being a better spot than what we planned. It was also in like a very obscure part of town, very obscure part of town, and I had no clue where we were going. And I was like Googling, okay, where's the nearest tennis court? And I was like, I think I found a place. And then you were like, oh no, I think I know where we can go. And the lighting was actually what we needed. And like everywhere, and like everybody that was playing tennis like at the time, like they left as soon as we got there.
Yeah, yeah.
So we pretty much had that whole tennis court to ourselves. And that day was a lot more comfortable than Chinatown, I could say that much. So I know you got a cameo in that tennis video, mainly because I just needed somebody to play tennis with. You know what I'm saying? Like that was pretty much, you didn't like have a character or anything like that. You were just a person that, I played tennis with. And I was just kind of like caught off guard, because the main subject in the video texted me out of nowhere saying like, she wants to start something up again. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, in La La Land pretty much. And it's just like one of those things where you have tunnel vision, and all you can think about is her. When you're infatuated, or like or if you have a crush on someone, that's just kind of like the vibe that you get. Like nobody else matters. It's just that one person, yada, yada, whatever, no matter how good or bad they are for you. Like that was kind of like the mood that Mars Luna was in during the time that we were playing tennis. And I got to play character a little bit with you know, a scene where I had to throw the tennis ball at you, but really it was more so just trying to throw the ball over, you know what I mean? And just kind of like, what, you know, like, why are you bothering me for? Like, what tennis match are we supposed to be playing? You know, and it's like, it was like kind of random, but it was just more so like that tennis scene was kind of inspired by an Amine video. And Amine is a rapper who makes like these super thought out music videos for his songs. And I kind of wanted to carry that vibe over, because the video for one of his songs, Compensating, features a big tennis court, and that was kind of a vibe that I wanted for this video. So shout out to Amine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I could have gone to his show here in Vegas last month, but hey, I was out of town. So, but anyway, back on track. So what do you remember most about the tennis court day, Holo?
What I remember most is, you know, hopping out of the car, and he was walking towards the tennis court, and then these guys who were playing basketball, all you just heard him say, "Holy fuck!" Or it was like, "Oh, this guy." I was like, oh, "Okay." It's like, I guess, you know, the energy from Chinatown has been carried over here.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that.
We was like, I remember we was walking, and then Luna, you said, "Oh, yeah, we're not in Milani anymore."
That's right. That's right. We weren't in Milani anymore.
Yeah, we was walking to the tennis court, and the one thing I remember is when Luna gave me a job to, you know, throw balls at him when he's on the phone,
Yeah.
to display that he, you know, he's he's not paying attention, he's distracted because he's on his phone.
Yeah.
He told me to throw balls at him, throw the tennis balls at him. I was like, okay, I can do that. So
Yeah.
I'm throwing the tennis balls at him, and I tell myself, okay, don't hit his head. Don't hit his head. And you know, when you tell yourself, don't hit that particular area.
Yeah.
I went ahead and I swang and I hit his head. It's so good.
Oh man, that was classic, bro.
His head.
Classic.
And he kind of like, he turned over and he shook off, and I was like, "Oh my God, Luna, are you okay? I'm so sorry." And he's like, "That's good. We got it. We put that in. We put that in." I was like,
"We got it."
Looking at him, I was like, "Oh, okay, we're doing it."
And Nalu was laughing too. So it was just like, it was funny. Like it was one of those things where it's like, it couldn't have, I know you weren't aiming to hit my face, but it was one of those things where it's like, I've experienced being hit in the face before. You know what I'm saying? So like, I've experienced like having a basketball being thrown at my face. I've had a volleyball spiked on my face. You know what I'm saying? So I'm familiar with like sports balls hitting my face unintentionally. You know what I'm saying? So it's the tennis ball being thrown wasn't really a big deal at all. In fact, it kind of added like more layers, because it was just kind of like, man, this dude really not paying attention. You know what I mean? Like this dude is this dude is really in La La Land right now, and nobody can talk him out of it. You know, so even though we were supposed to have this tennis match, you know, it was very much like filler scenes, but also scenes that kind of told the story along, as far as like where Mars Luna stands with the girl. You know what I mean? And like like this dude is really he's really in a zone with this, you know, because there's a line that says, you know, if that makes me a psychopath, if going back with you makes me a psychopath, then I don't really mind, you know. And it's meant to be displayed from when I wrote the song, that line was supposed to be displayed from both sides. So even though the relationship was toxic, like both parties wanted to be back together, even though they were no good for each other at all, you know. So that was kind of like the mood that I was kind of trying to portray, that tunnel vision aspect of like, nah, she's the one, bro. Like she's the one, no matter what. Like I know people, you know, people warned me about this girl, and I know people said that this girl is like, you know, she's danger, you know. I'm not paying attention to any of that, you know. And that's kind of what a toxic relationship is founded on. So I wanted to kind of capture that a little bit in a really goofy and, you know, comedic way, you know. So being hit in the face kind of added with the comedic effect a lot. So and like even getting the footage from Kainalu when I went to the shop to get the footage, which I'll actually segue into it next. Just looking at the footage and just seeing like how it looked when you hit my face.
Oh yeah.
It was just like, bruh, it looked like you threw it pretty hard, but it looked like you pretty hard, but it wasn't really that hard at all. Like I kind of just sold it a little bit, you know. So, and like me trying to throw the tennis ball at you, like I didn't know if, like I was more worried about hitting your head when I was trying to throw the tennis ball, because I didn't have my glasses on, because, you know, with Mars Luna, like I had to take my glasses off whenever I'm in character. So it was like, oh shoot, I hope I don't, you know, I can see colors, right? Like I can see like shapes and colors, but not like how, like the finer details, right? So it's like
right.
I can just see bokeh, you know what I mean? Like
yes.
I can just see bokeh without my glasses. So I wanted to make sure I didn't hit your head when I was in the tennis ball, and like seeing me like jump up in the air and be like, wah! And throw it at your head. It was like, okay, we did it. Like I didn't hit his head. I flew it in your direction, you know. I was like, okay, good. We got it. And we had like some fun footage of like us actually playing real tennis, even though we're all trash at it. So so that was fun. That was a lot more fun than Chinatown for sure.
Yeah.
And day 3, speaking of the shop, speaking of 3Kai Clothing Company, we filmed at 3Kai Clothing Company for the last day of this Psychopath video, and Nalu and I were trying to put a backdrop in, and I didn't know how in the world we were gonna do it, because Nalu was like, oh, we can use the shop again if you like. And I'm like, okay, yeah, for sure. How are we gonna make it work? The shop kind of small, you know what I'm saying? And like an hour before you and Scott showed up, we were trying to set up this backdrop, and on the surface, like if you take away the visuals from the Psychopath video, you can't tell like it's the most ghetto setup imaginable. You know what I'm saying? Like this is, again, DIY creativity at its finest. And just, you know, we were trying to be innovative. We were trying to set up this backdrop, this giant purple backdrop in the middle of the store. And we were able to make it work. And, you know, a lot of the third day, we were kind of just figuring things out on the fly. You know, I was like, why don't I just lie down? And lying down actually worked because it covered up all like the ghetto parts that were the ghetto parts that were hanging on. But that worked out honestly to near perfection. And Nalu, in true Nalu fashion, he was like, oh, I got this airsoft gun in the back. You can use them if you like. And I'm like, is there anything inside? He's like, no, there isn't anything inside. We're using it. We're using it. We're using it. And then and he also gave me this, his knife. Like, it's a really rusty knife. And I just had this idea to kind of just lie down and, hold the knife in my hand and just kind of stare at the knife the whole time. And then I don't know whose idea was it to make it rain on me with the $1 bills.
Straight from the register.
Straight from the register. and there was a scene, that I was like, when y'all poured the money on me, it had to be done in one take. That had to be done in one take, because we didn't know where the money was gonna go. Like, we didn't know if it was gonna fly off the backdrop, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot. But I think that day was the most fun, because it was completely random, but it embodied psychopath energy still in a completely different way that I didn't expect. And shout out to Nalu for keeping his prized possessions in the storage room of his shop. So
this guy.
So it's just like, oh, like it really evolved, or devolved, I should say, from having this gorgeous girl at the palm of my hand to daydreaming with an airsoft rifle and a knife in 2 separate occasions, and just like it kind of showed how Mars Luna's mind regressed over the 5-year span, you know what I mean? And I felt like, man, this dude really did become a psychopath. And the beautiful thing about the airsoft rifle and the knife is that I feel like those scenes can be open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Definitely. So it's like, oh, like, why is this guy holding a an airsoft rifle? Why is this guy holding a knife and making it rain? You know what I'm saying? It's just like it kind of disguises the emptiness in a way. Like, this is Mars Luna's way of coping, I guess. You know what I mean? And just like, man, like, it could be like, oh, if maybe if she's got a new boyfriend, I'm loaded and ready. You know what I'm saying? It kind of carried that vibe
with the rifle in hand,
with the rifle on top of my chest,
just like ready to go.
Ready to go. Oh, and just like, if that makes, like, I've wanted you to fall for me, like, saying those lines as I was laying down, it kind of brought a whole new meaning. Psychopath energy. And what did you remember about day 3?
Day 3, the one thing I remember, and when I think about that day, it's always that moment, is when I opened the doors and I walked in and I seen the purple backdrop, and I look on the ground, I was like, why is his rifle here? And then I was like, oh yeah, we was brainstorming. I think we got an idea. And I was like, oh. And he was like, he got his phone, he had his camera out, and he's like, show me the footage. And I was like, oh, this guy, he's like confident about his idea. I was like, bro, is this okay with Luna? And then he's coming out of the back, is like, yeah, bro, we're gonna use the airsoft rifle. And I got this knife too. And I was like, whoa, I wasn't ready for all this. I'm just a boy coming in, photographer with his VHS camera. Oh, we're using an airsoft gun now. No.
That reaction
knife?
was all caught on VHS too. That
God,
reaction was caught on there too. My goodness.
it was so funny, and I think it was so nice too, and so fun is that we did all that we needed to do, and it kind of flowed into Scott being there, and we were just kind of like hanging out. It was kind of like a close to all the shooting days that we did. It was nice.
Yeah, it was a real close. And honestly, like I'll go more into this to the Scott portion later because foreshadowing. But you know what I'm saying? But and hopefully we can get him on future episodes for that. But I feel like Psychopath, at the video as a whole was a complete departure, I guess, from previous videos. And you can kind of see like, it all started off like going back to the very first video very first Mars Luna video that we did with these damn feelings, and and kind of it started off like pretty cutesy, you know what I'm saying, and then going into selfish, which is where we extracted the Lindsay Lee footage from, and having like a whole love triangle situation, you know what I'm saying, with that, and going to Good Girl was another cutesy one. I'm trying to remember all the videos on the top of my head, and I'm not going to include Drift because Drift is more of a personal one, and that's not really connected to any storyline. But and then going back into Rocket Science and juxtaposing like Rocket Science and Psychopath, because those are the two Dark Matter videos. I think those two videos illustrate like the dichotomy of dark matter and the duality of dark matter, and the split, the split personality, like between like, the light and the dark, and you know what I'm saying, like those kind of things. And Psychopath was kind of a way to not put an end to an era, but like it felt like a conclusion of all the videos that we did in the past, and culminating in like a really like grungy type of video. It was just like everything came around full circle for that, and it was honestly a refreshing change of pace, even though it didn't necessarily go completely the way that I planned. Just like how the dark matter process went, it might have went a little better than how I originally planned for it. So it's progressing really well right now. Like it literally crossed over the 200 view threshold today. So it's hard to get views on YouTube nowadays. So shout out to everybody who's been watching, and shout out to everybody who's checked out the Psychopath video and the acoustic version of it. I'm glad that y'all really like it, and I'm glad I'm all the comments that I've been getting on the Psychopath video more specifically. It's kind of validating, and I can probably say this for you, and I probably say this for Nalu too, that like the formula that we got going on, I feel like there's a charm to it. I feel like sure, I could get like a super duper like professional videographer and try to film that myself with with a whole bigger team, with with somebody else's ideas and stuff like that. But it was a really good, it feels validating to to do it with people that I trust, and people that rock with me. So and seeing all the comments is really really cool. And like it's one of those videos that I think will age well over time, you
Mhm.
know, and just I feel like it wouldn't have it. I can't think of any other way to do a video for that song. So yeah, like so Holo, once again, thank you for joining once again. It's
Yeah,
been a
you know it.
and hopefully we can get Kainalu back next time. Um, hopefully he'll let us know how his date's going. You know what I'm saying? But nah,
Oh,
nah,
that
nah,
guy.
nah. But for real, thank you to everybody who's been watching and keeping track. Shout out to to everybody who's been tuning in. I know it's mostly been family and friends, but like it. But I'm glad people, you know, are entertained by it, and you know, it's going to be more fire content. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, for the rest of the year, and we got more music coming. Which means we got more podcast episodes coming, and you know, oh, I just got this alert that Mars Luna is going to drop something new next month. So,
Oh, there you go.
so you know, it's there's a lot more on the horizons, and it's more exciting things to come. So I'm going to close this episode out. You can follow the podcast, ML Backstage, on Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, or wherever you listen to podcasts, really. And feel free to subscribe and follow. It helps the podcast grow. You know what I'm saying? I know that this is a fun thing for us to do, and for us to catch up, honestly. But if you uh, subscribe and follow, we'll keep finding ways to make this thing better and to uh, make this thing grow. You know what I'm saying? And thank you to everybody who supported Mars Luna's Odyssey so far. You can follow Mars Luna on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at It's Mars Luna. And you can follow the music website at itsmarsluna.com. And there's a subscriber form at the bottom of the Mars Luna website. So I'll link that below, and you'll get sneak peeks for upcoming Mars Luna material. And you can follow me on Instagram at Luna B Joshua. And other than that, like watch the Psychopath video and stream the song. That's pretty much it, honestly. And subscribe to the podcast. So Holo, what about you?
Oh, you guys can follow me at my website, Holokahiki Toves.co. It's more like a file cabinet / time capsule,
Yeah,
but more on my daily life is on my IG at Holokahiki Toves. Go ahead and check it out, guys.
there we go.
Support Mars Luna.
And follow him on
ML
Twitch too.
Backstage.
And follow him on Twitch too. You got
On the Twitch and the Twitch.
Plug in the Twitch account.
Oh, long story. I went on this other Twitch account and I was watching them play, and I got banned from their stream because I think my name is pretty bad because the guy is from UK.
Yep.
So you guys can follow me on Twitch. My name is Holocaust, not the real thing.
No, not
the real thing.
No, not at all. It's not. There's no T at the end. There's no T.
Yeah, there's no T at the end.
It's just an
H.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's there's no T at the end. There's a underscore, but it doesn't apply that there should be a T at the end. There's just an underscore.
Yeah.
So it's HOLOKAUS underscore.
There we go.
Check it out.
Check it out. There's a lot of gaming content on there. I might put up some streaming content later on too. Anybody who watches this video, comment in the YouTube comment section below and let me know like what type of content you want to see on Twitch if I do set one up. So yeah, that's all for this episode, guys. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and stay tuned for next month's episode where we're going to talk about Mars Luna's upcoming release. So,
Ooh, let's go.
so yeah, stay tuned. Catch y'all next month.
Let's go, Ethan. Psychopath energy.
Yes, sir.
Joshua, you better not spoil what I got coming next, or I'll eat you alive. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the ML Backstage podcast. If you liked what you heard, follow us on Spotify and Anchor, and subscribe to us on Apple and YouTube at ML Backstage. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at It's Mars Luna. You can find all my music on Spotify and Apple Music, and on my website at itsmarsluna.com. Psychopath is out now, so go stream the single on Spotify and Apple Music, and watch the music video on YouTube. Thank you all for watching and listening. Stay tuned for next month's episode. Bye!